So I was rewatching a lot of stuff because I just got back from Disneyland and I was rewatching movies that a lot of people just sort of discredit at this point, you know? So I was watching the original Avengers because a lot of people are just like, it's alright at this point compared to Endgame and Infinity War and all of that. And I was, but more importantly, I watched The Force Awakens again, and I realized that a lot of people have a negative opinion on that movie for absolutely no reason. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I just use this channel to rant at this point. And so I'm just going to do that now. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't, it's fine. Subscribe anyway, so you can continue to hate me. But yeah, I want to talk about Force Awakens because people have this really negative perception on it for absolutely no freaking reason, man. Here's the deal. People don't like Force Awakens, not because it's a bad movie, but it's because they don't like the sequels as a whole. And so they just rope Force Awakens into that and then just keep going on it and then forget that freaking Force Awakens was an amazing movie and one of the best Star Wars movies there. I said it. I said that a freaking sequel movie was one of the best Star Wars movies. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Initially, yeah, the sequels were decent at best and bad at their worst moments. You could definitely tell, especially as things were going on, that Disney did not have a vision for what they were wanting to get from Star Wars. This sequel run with Rey and Kylo Ren and Finn and all those people, you definitely could tell that they did not know what they wanted, especially in Rise of Skywalker, and you could see little glimpses of that in The Last Jedi. But you could tell what people wanted. And you could tell that they knew what they wanted to do with The Force Awakens, because it was such a clear, fleshed out story, and it made just so much sense to the point that you could throw out The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and still be satisfied with how it turns out. I want to take you back to when this movie was first announced and when it first came out, because I don't think anybody remembers just how crazy people were about this movie when it came out. I remember specifically it was physically impossible to get tickets to this movie where I lived for a solid month after it came out, because every single freaking theater was sold out, and every single theater had showings every day, several showings every day, and yet they were still being sold out because people loved this movie and wanted to see it so badly. And I mean, who wouldn't? Because the freaking hype around this movie was so big. When a freaking new Star Wars movie decides to come out, and they're just like, hey, we got the rights to Star Wars and now we're actually doing something with it. Freaking people went mental. Because the last time that somebody got mainstream Star Wars movie stuff, I'm not talking about the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that, was what, the 2000s? With the prequels? And now you have a big studio like Disney making a Star Wars movie. George Lucas isn't involved. Because you gotta remember, back then, people credited George Lucas for why Star Wars fell off, even though he created the stuff. Now it seems like everybody's like, oh, George Lucas is they need to bring back George Lucas and let him have a say in what Star Wars does. Homie, before the sequels, you were hating on George Lucas because of the prequels, and now people have this sort of idea about the prequels that it was somehow a good movie, a good movie trilogy, outside of the fact that it's memeable. I can understand why somebody likes the prequels. I personally think that the prequels are a more enjoyable experience than any other Star Wars series, just because I can enjoy it with my friends every single freaking time. This entire channel is a tangent. What am I talking about? But yeah, everybody was upset at George Lucas. Then suddenly Disney is doing something and George Lucas is not involved at all. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. They're actually going to do something good. They have J.J. Abrams directing it? Oh my gosh. Because again, J.J. Abrams, I mean, he had some stereotypes about lens flares with his Star Trek movies, but People liked him. People really liked him. And so he's directing a Star Wars movie? Oh my, what? This is crazy. This is insane. And then the movie comes out and poof, it's amazing. And it still is. It still is right now. People just conflate The Force Awakens with all the other bad stuff about Star Wars, which there is a lot of bad stuff. I'm not going to discredit that. There's a lot of bad stuff about Star Wars, but The Force Awakens in and of itself is not one of them. Is it similar to A New Hope? Yeah. Is it different enough to be an enjoyable experience? Yeah. And you know what? I would make the challenge, I would make the claim that even if it followed A New Hope T for T, it would still be entertaining, and I'd still watch it several times. Because A New Hope is a really good movie. Sue me. Maybe I'm just a casual. Maybe I'm what Martin Scorsese hates, and I don't actually like movies. I just like spending time, and I don't have actual care about the art. Do you think I care? Do you think I care? I wanna see big lasers shooting each other. I wanna see force battles. I want to see Rey fight Kylo Ren. And you know what? I got that. I got that from this movie. And I got so much more. Let's talk about these characters, because the characters don't get botched in this movie. They're actually really, really good. Honestly, I can understand the Rey hate, because she can be a little bit of a Mary Sue sometimes. But I think some people mistake a lot of the things that Rey does. Instead of being like, oh, she's a Mary Sue, she's just competent. We have this romanticized idea of Luke Skywalker, and oh, he struggled and all of that. But dude, if we're following Jedi tradition and Jedi law, Luke got way too good at the Force way too fast. Like, he was not supposed to be as good as he was because he trained with Yoda for like a week. And he like talked with Obi-Wan once. Y'all remember that? He had one road trip with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Suddenly, he's the freaking Force genius, can blow up the Death Star. And then the next movie, he freaking goes with Yoda for a week. Then Yoda dies in the next movie. Suddenly, he's the only one that really is competent when it comes to Jedi stuff. And then, boom. Boom, he's incredibly good. And he's gotten little to no training. So, I mean, why can't Rey? I mean, if you're not gonna make excuses for Luke Skywalker suddenly getting really good after like a movie, freaking don't make those excuses for Rey. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't to say that Rey is this really awesome character that I love 100% of the time, because she's not. There are definitely aspects of her character in particular that I don't like. Honestly, I think that it would have been really awesome if Finn was the main character, because of how his story plays out and how his arc goes out. What I will say is that his arc really like peters out throughout the entire sequels and sort of like never gets completely resolved. Even in the first movie, like, there's no real resolution. I guess he sort of has that moment where he fights Kylo Ren instead of runs away and all that, which I mean is meaningful, but I really would have loved to see more of that. But again, we're looking at freaking Force Awakens as its own thing, not as a symptom of the sequelitis or anything like that, because Force Awakens is a freaking bomb movie and I really like it. And the fact that people are really upset and they don't like Force Awakens and they think it's like a bad movie, they're insane. They have this part of their brain that just is like, oh, this subsection of Star Wars movie bad, this one good. Guys, I'm gonna say something that I don't think anybody really says. The original Star Wars movies aren't even that good. We praise the Star Wars movies for being this beautiful thing and this beautiful story and all that stuff. Here's the deal, they're not. It's not. Dude, it's literally just, it's not what everybody thinks it is. It's Star Wars. It's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's just not this amazing saga that everybody has in their mind that it is, with these beautiful characters and this heartwarming story and, oh, it changed my life. You can have those opinions. I'm not a movie critic. I just talk way too much. But I mean, the Star Wars movies are not like meant to be these beautiful things. They're meant to be Star Wars. And for a Star Wars movie, Force Awakens is freaking good. I like the characters. I like the story. I like the settings. I like how they choose to grow and develop, and how every character, even the villains and the heroes and all that, they get challenged in some way, and they end up different. The characters that you care about aren't the same people as they are at the beginning of the movie, which you want. You don't want your main characters to be freaking static, and they're not. They're freaking amazing. I love this movie. I don't know why people hate it so much. I'm gonna keep on ranting if this video goes on any longer, but overall, Force Awakens is freaking good. Y'all are just butthurt that it's not George Lucas' beautiful thing. That's really all I gotta say about Force Awakens. You can disagree. I don't care. Have your opinions. I'll have mine. We'll live. We'll move. We'll groove. That's all I got. If you like this, please subscribe. Please like, comment, share with a friend. It's freaking sick. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna see how this whole situation treats us as we move on forward in life and liberty. And I should stop talking. So that's all I got. Take care.